Hi friends, I have another super fun technique to share with you. I'm going to show you how you could use ink refills, ink pads, and a few other magic elements, including embossing folders, to create beautiful backgrounds for your cards and projects. So without further ado, let's start stamping. The first thing I'm doing is I'm taking my ink pads and I'm just, as you can see, tapping them onto my glass mat. And I'm going to use various colors. I've started with Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie. I'm pulling in some real red. And it doesn't matter if you just, like you can see, I'm just getting a tiny edge of the ink pad because it's all going to blend together when I mist it with water. So I'm showing you here how I also pulled in some ink refills. So I've added a little bit of green and a little bit of purple, and I'll have a list of all the supplies on my blog for you. And I'm adding a little bit of blueberry bushel and just mist it with water, and you'll see it start to spread. But as I was doing this, I didn't want the big circles, the blobs of the ink. So I started by misting on more water and tapping it with my old paintbrush, and then I pulled in some other water to dip my brush in, and you can see adding the water to the water is really magical, and everything starts blending in together really, really well. You want to be careful that you don't muddy up all the colors. So just kind of let everything flow in together, but do be mindful that you don't start getting browns and things. Just once you're happy with the color scheme that you've got going on, lay your paper on top. Now I'm just using our basic white paper, but you could also use watercolor cardstock. And I didn't want to waste any ink, so I'm just taking scrap paper and pushing it right into that ink. Now look at this. I decided the white spots, I wanted to add color, so there's still ink on my glass mat. So I just added more water and started pushing it in. But you're going to see how I just kept playing with this, and you will not believe that the end result of this background. So if you're into mixed media, this is going to be right up your alley, because imagine just taking this and adding your stencils, your texture paste, heat embossing. You can do so much, but I'm going to show you what I did today, which is really, really fun and super cool. Here I'm just adding some more Daffodil Delight ink with some water into those white spots. And then I decided the Daffodil Delight wasn't as dark as I wanted, so I pulled in some crushed curry. Now this piece that I'm creating with the inks and the water is going to give me a really amazing vibrant background to use for the next steps with the embossing folder, and then there's going to be another cool step after that. If you want, you can absolutely use designer series paper for this part and skip this part altogether. But this was so much fun, and it's just a really cool way to create backgrounds. And this may look kind of, well, it doesn't look great at the moment, depending on those of us who know you can really step it up using different products and mixed media type style. But just you hang in there with me. Hang in there and you won't believe how this turns out. Because the ink has dried on my paper, I can now go back and splatter on some water and get some really neat water effects. And of course, I didn't want to waste any ink, so I'm just swiping my paper across all that leftover yellow ink and water. Here I'm simply cutting my cardstock in half. This is of course 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to cut these pieces a little bit smaller as well so I can use them in different embossing folders. But you'll see here, I'm using the beautiful 3D sunflower embossing folder from Stampin' Up. This embossing folder is absolutely stunning. Now, I know because I have so many bright colors beneath the embossed image, it's kind of hard to see that embossing, but wait until the next step. So next, I'm cutting up some more of that background paper, and I'm bringing in the Glass and Gardens embossing folders, and I'm going to run those through my machine. The embossing is gorgeous, and I know, again, it's hard to really see it. It's there, you can see it. But the next step I'm going to show you, oh my gosh, you guys, wait, I can't wait for you to see what happens. I also pulled in the hibiscus embossing folder for that last little panel. So I'm just making sure that my paper is fully dry before I move on to the next magical step. This right here, my friends, my white ink pad is what's going to just make everything pop. So look at this. All I'm doing is I'm lightly swiping my white ink on top of these pieces, and look how those embossed images are starting to pop up, and all those beautiful colors, they become a little bit more subtle with that little bit of white on top of them. So again, just lightly swiping with the white, and oh, it's just, the camera doesn't do it justice. It's so pretty. And you can do this with Designer Series paper. I encourage you to try that as well. And I just love how these turned out. And I think now you can see why I wanted my background paper to be so vibrant, to have that behind my embossed images. Now this is an absolute wow in my opinion. And as I got going with this bigger piece, I thought, you know what? I think I need to re-ink my my white ink pad. It was a little bit on the dry side. So I did add some white re-inker to the ink pad, and it did make a big difference. Now, did you guys expect that? From that first piece with all the ink and the water behind it? I bet you didn't. And it would be really cool. I didn't think about this at the time, but I think it'd be cool to have used script like the images in the elements of text on the paper before I ran it through the embossing folder. There is so much you can do with this technique. And look, you can still see the watermarks. Oh, I just love how it turned out. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some music on, and I'm going to let you watch how I put my cards together, and I'll let you know some of the important parts and different products that I used. Some, of course, were retired, some are current, and some sentiments like this one are ones that I have created myself. So if you're not already part of my email subscriber list, make sure you are, because my digital sentiment sheet was something that I offered as a free gift to those who recently filled out my survey. And some of these sentiments that I'm sharing with you today are on that sentiment sheet. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any goodies and freebies from me. And I'm just going to let you watch how I put these together. I hope you had fun watching me make these cards today, friends, and watching this fun technique. I hope you give it a try. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me grow my channel and help support these free videos that I love making for you. I can't wait to share my next video with you. So until then, my friends, take care and happy stamping.